Hey everyone, and welcome back to the NOSR Webs podcast. You know the drill, right? Before we get started, make sure you hit up that description below for some seriously awesome offers. Trust me, you don't want to miss them. All right. Now, today, we're going deep into the world of quant.
QNT, for those in the know.
You got it. We're going to figure out if this crypto is worth your digital dollars, your hard-earned crypto, all that good stuff.
That's the goal. We want to help you cut through all the noise and the hype, There's a lot of it out there.
True that. And to do that, we've got expert predictions, historical charts, technical indicators, like everything but the kitchen sink.
We went all out for this one.
Had to, right? I mean, quant's been on quite a ride. Remember back in 2021 when it hit like $400?
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. But now, fast forward to today, January 2025, sitting around $120.
Mm-hmm.
So what gives? What happened? And more importantly, what's going to happen next? Could it skyrocket to $1,000 or more?
Those are the questions, right?
$1 million questions, literally.
Exactly. And to get to the bottom of it all, we've pulled data from everywhere: CoinMarketCap, Crypto News, Wallet Investor, all the big names.
So for all you quant fans out there, buckle up. This is going to be a wild ride.
Maybe not too wild. We'll keep it grounded in reality, too.
All right. No promises, though, because quant has been anything but predictable. But before we go full-on crystal ball, let's talk basics. Quant's whole deal is about solving this thing called blockchain interoperability.
Yeah, it's basically getting different blockchains to, actually work together.
Right, like a blockchain United Nations or something.
Perfect analogy. You see, right now, most blockchains are kind of like isolated islands, each with its own little language and rules, totally separate.
So no trading, no communication, no nothing.
Pretty much. But Quant wants to be the bridge that connects them all. Imagine seamless communication, easy transfer of assets between different blockchains, all that good stuff.
Okay, now that would be huge.
It would. Imagine developers building apps that can use the best features of multiple blockchains, all working together in perfect harmony.
Mind-blowing. But, okay, let's rewind a bit. Before we get lost in all the what-ifs and future possibilities, how did Quant even get to where it is today?
Yeah, let's take a little trip down memory lane.
Back to the good old days of 2020.
Where it all began. QNT started trading at a modest, $0.50.
Yeah, not bad. Not amazing, but, a solid start, right?
Definitely. It was a slow and steady climb at first as more and more people discovered what Quant was all about.
And then, bam, 2021 happened.
The year of the crypto boom.
Cue the fireworks. QNT was, unstoppable. It shot up to its all-time high of, remember?
$400.
$400. It was a crypto everyone wanted a piece of.
And it wasn't just hype either. Quant had real momentum. They were scoring big partnerships. The technology was advancing. Everything was clicking.
But you know what they say, what goes up
must come down.
Ugh, yeah. The party couldn't last forever.
And then, boom, the 2022 correction hit, and QNT came back down to earth.
A little bumpier landing than anyone hoped for.
Yeah. It stabilized between $50 and $100, reflecting a broader trend across the whole crypto market.
A trend that gave a lot of investors anxiety, to say the least. So the question is, was this just another case of crypto boom and bust? Or is there something more to the quant story?
That's what we're trying to figure out, right? The key is to understand what happened after the peak. Did quant fade away? Or did they use that time to build something even stronger?
Okay, I'm hooked. Spill the tea. What happened next?
Well, like we said, QNT stabilized in that $50 to $100 range. But here's the thing. They didn't just sit around twiddling their thumbs. They were busy making moves, forming new partnerships, and, really refining their technology.
They were playing the long game, huh?
Exactly. They weren't just chasing the next pump and dump.
Smart move. So what happened as the market started to recover?
Well, as crypto started to pick back up in 2023, QNT was right there ready to roll. It was a slow and steady climb, but by early 2024, it was back up around $100.
And now look at us. January 2025, QNT is sitting pretty at $120.
Not bad at all, especially considering the roller coaster it's been on.
It's like a testament to their stick-to-itiveness.
Resilience.
Yes, resilience. They had a vision, and they're sticking to it.
It's definitely inspiring to see a project weathering the storms and coming out stronger on the other side.
Absolutely. But you know what everyone really wants to know, right?
The future.
The future. What do those crystal balls say about QNT's price? Hit me with those expert predictions.
All right, but remember, predictions are just educated guesses.
Of course. But still fun to speculate.
True. So for the short term, 2025 CoinMarketCap is predicting a range of $150 to $180.
Not too shabby. Why do they think that?
They're basing it on the increasing adoption of Quant's technology, specifically Overledger.
Ah, Overledger. That's the secret sauce, right?
You got it. It's the technology that makes all this interoperability stuff possible.
The blockchain magic, basically.
Exactly. But Crypto News is even more optimistic. They think QNT could hit $200 by the end of the year.
Wow.
They are, however, adding a little asterisk to that prediction.
What's the catch?
Well, they say that, the overall crypto market has to stay healthy for QNT to reach those heights if things go south for crypto in general.
Yeah, that could put a damper on things. Okay, so short term, we're looking at potentially $150 to $200. What about a little further out, like 2026, 2027, that kind of range?
Let's see. Wallet Investor sees QNT reaching $250 to $300 in that time frame.
Nice. They must be feeling pretty good about Quant's future.
Yeah, their reasoning is that there's going to be more and more demand for blockchain solutions that can actually, talk to each other. And guess who's leading the charge on that front?
Quant.
Yep, but not everyone is quite as bullish.
Okay, who's raining on our parade?
Well, Digital Coin Price is a little more cautious. They think QNT will probably stay in the $220 to $250 range.
Still some decent gains there, though.
Definitely. They're emphasizing that sustained interest from investors and continued development of the technology are key. If those things keep happening, QNT should do well.
All right, so we've got a mix of cautious optimism and some potential for some serious profits. But now I want to fast forward. Let's talk 2028 and beyond. Give me the long-term predictions. What's the most optimistic outlook?
All right, hold on to your hats. Priceprediction.net is throwing out a prediction of $500 by 2030.
Now we're talking. That's more than like 4x from where we are today.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing it's assuming everything goes perfectly, right? No hiccups along the way.
Of course. It assumes that the entire blockchain sector keeps growing and that Quant maintains its leading position in the whole interoperability game.
A lot can happen in 7 years.
You said it. But here's the really wild part. Some experts think that if Quant really achieves all its goals, we could see QNT hit $1,000 or even more within the next decade.
Okay, now that would be epic. But let's back up a bit. Before we get ahead of ourselves, let's look at what the charts are telling us. What are those technical indicators saying about QNT's price right now?
Technical analysis. It's like reading the tea leaves of the market.
Ooh, mystical.
Right. But it's all about using charts and indicators to understand the psychology of the market and how it's impacting price movements.
So where do we start?
Well, let's talk about moving averages. These are trend lines that smooth out all the daily price fluctuations. Right now, the 50-day moving average for QNT is at about $115.
And that means don't leave me hanging.
Haha, okay. It means that the current price is above this key average, which is generally seen as a good sign.
Bullish.
Exactly. It means that on average, buyers have been more active than sellers over the past 50 days.
Okay, so things were looking up. But what about the 200-day moving average? What's that one doing?
That one is currently around $100, which suggests some pretty strong support at that level, like a safety net,
So we've got this nice upward trend, and even if things dip, there's a good chance it'll bounce back from that $100 level.
That's the idea. But we're not done yet. There's another important indicator we need to look at, the Relative Strength Index, or RSI for short. It's like a thermometer that measures how enthusiastic the market is about an asset.
So how hot is QNT running right now?
Well, the RSI is currently at 65, which means things are getting a bit warm. Anything above 70 is considered overbought territory.
Uh-oh, overbought. Does that mean the price is about to, plummet?
Not necessarily, but it does mean we should be prepared for a potential correction.
Okay, so like a little breather after a big run-up.
Exactly.
So the RSI is giving us a little bit of a yellow light, but not quite red yet.
Got it. What else are we seeing on those charts? What other signals should we be paying attention to?
Well, there are always key support and resistance levels to watch. Remember how we talked about support acting like a floor?
Yep.
Well, for QNT, that floor is currently around $100, just like the 200-day moving average suggested. Yep. Got it. So if the price dips toward $100, buyers might step in and prevent it from falling further. Now, what about resistance? What's acting like the ceiling?
Well, right now, QNT is facing some resistance around $150.
So if it manages to break through that $150 level,
it could signal a strong uptrend.
Bullish. But are there any other chart patterns or formations we should be aware of?
There are some bullish candlestick formations that suggest positive momentum, but as always, caution is key.
Words to live by in the crypto world. So it sounds like technical analysis is giving us a bit of a mixed bag here. Some bullish signals, some cautious ones. But, charts don't tell the whole story, right?
Exactly.
To really understand what's going on with QNT, we need to go beyond the technicals and look at the fundamentals.
The real-world factors that are driving QNT's value.
Okay, so let's ditch the charts for a minute, get down to the nitty-gritty. What are those fundamental factors? What's happening behind the scenes that could impact QNT's price in the long run?
Well, one of the most compelling things about Quant is their focus on strategic partnerships. And not just any partnerships, they've teamed up with some heavy hitters. We're talking major financial institutions, big names in the tech world. It adds a lot of credibility to the project.
It's not just about dropping names, though, right? These partnerships need to actually lead to something, to real-world adoption.
Absolutely, and that's what's happening. These partnerships are all about integrating Quant's technology into real-world systems. That's what ultimately drives value.
Okay, so partnerships are a big check in the pro column. What else is working in Quant's favor?
Well, they're also constantly developing and upgrading their Overledger technology. Remember, that's what makes all this interoperability magic happen.
Right. And as the blockchain world keeps growing and evolving, that's going to be more and more important.
Exactly. Quant is positioned to be a key player in this whole blockchain revolution.
Plus, we can't ignore the overall market sentiment. Right now, there's a lot of excitement around blockchain technology. Institutional investors are starting to get involved. Governments are exploring its potential. And that rising tide could lift all boats, including Quant.
It's definitely an exciting time to be in the crypto space, but, there are always risks to consider.
Okay, let's talk about those risks. What do investors need to keep in mind when it comes to Quant? What could go wrong?
Well, one of the biggest risks is, competition. There are other projects out there trying to solve the same interoperability problem.
It's a blockchain battle royale.
Haha, kind of. But so far, Quant seems to have a pretty good head start. They've been at this longer than most, and they've already proven their technology works.
Okay, so competition is a factor, but Quant has a solid track record. What else?
Regulation is another big one. The crypto landscape is constantly changing, and governments are still trying to figure out how to deal with this whole decentralized world. That uncertainty can create some volatility.
Yeah, that's always a risk with crypto. And speaking of volatility, even if Quant does everything right, the broader market could take a downturn, and that would impact QNT's price.
Exactly. Diversification is always a good strategy to manage that risk. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, even if it's a Quant basket.
Words of wisdom. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, but obviously there's so much more to explore when it comes to Quant.
You've just scratched the surface.
Exactly. So in the next part of our Quant deep dive, we're going to take a closer look at their journey since that all-time high, and we'll unpack the factors that contributed to their resilience and recovery.
We'll also dive into the technical details of Overledger and explore how this revolutionary technology is making blockchain interoperability a reality. And of course, we'll analyze Quant's competitive landscape and look at the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.
So much to discuss. But for now, we're going to take a little break. Make sure you stick around for part 2 of our Quant deep dive because you won't want to miss it.
And in the meantime, don't forget to check out those awesome offers we have for you in the description below.
They'll help you navigate the wild world of crypto. And who knows, maybe even score some sweet deals on QNT.
Thanks for tuning in. Catch you in part 2.
It's funny, right? All this talk about the future and where Quant's going, but we gotta remember where it all started.
True. Take us back.
Okay, so rewind back to 2021. Remember when QNT hit that crazy all-time high? $424.
Oh, yeah. It was peak cryptomania back then. It felt like everyone and their grandma was talking about blockchain.
Exactly. But then what happened?
Well, what always happens in crypto land? The correction.
Yep, the market cooled down and QNT took a bit of a tumble.
Along with pretty much every other crypto out there.
Right. But here's the thing, understanding what happened after that peak, that's what's really interesting. That tells us a lot about QNT's resilience.
All years.
Okay, so picture the September 2021 QNT's riding high, hits that A-feed of $424, and then boom, it starts dropping.
How bad are we talking? Not a sudden crash or anything, thank goodness. More like a gradual decline as the market started to correct itself.
I remember that. It was kind of nerve-wracking, but also, like you said, it's crypto. Ups and downs are just part of the game.
Exactly. So by the end of 2021, QNT was down to about $200. Still a decent price, but a significant drop from its peak.
Okay, so it lost about half its value. What happened next?
Well, the downward trend kind of continued into 2022. And remember, that was a rough year for the whole crypto market.
Oh, yeah. Lots of uncertainty regulations. The whole global economy thing. Not exactly a recipe for success.
Exactly. So by the middle of 2022, QNT had dipped below $100 for the first time since that initial boom. And that's when things started to get really interesting.
Interesting good or interesting bad? Spill the tea.
Interesting. Good, I promise. So while the price was down, QNT actually showed some serious resilience. Instead of completely tanking, it entered what we call a stabilization phase.
Stabilization. So basically it stopped free falling.
Exactly. It started trading in a relatively narrow range between $50 and $100. Volatility calmed down a bit. It was like the market was taking a breather.
So QNT weathered the storm, found its footing, and decided to chill for a bit.
Pretty much. And you know what that tells me?
What's that?
It tells me that even during a market downturn, there was still a lot of underlying support for QNT. People believed in its long-term potential. They weren't just going to dump it at the first sign of trouble.
Okay, so it survived the crypto winter. What happened next? Did it make a comeback?
It did. As we moved into 2023, the whole crypto market started to rebound, and QNT was no exception. By early 2024, it was back up around $100.
Look at that. A true comeback kid.
Right. And remember, at the start of this deep dive, we said it's currently trading around $120. So that's a slow and steady climb back up. Not as explosive as that 2021 surge, but definitely healthy.
I'd take slow and steady over a wild roller coaster ride any day, especially in the crypto world.
Agreed. And the really cool thing is that this recovery wasn't just because the market was doing better. Quant was actively making moves.
Like what?
They were forging new partnerships, expanding their reach into different industries, and they kept developing and improving their Overledger technology, making it even more powerful and versatile.
So they weren't just sitting back and waiting for the market to turn around. They were putting in the work.
Exactly. And that's what attracted more investors and ultimately drove the price higher. It was a combination of market recovery and tangible progress.
Okay, so looking back at QNT's journey since its all-time high, we see a pretty classic pattern, a big drop, a period of stabilization, and then a steady recovery.
It's almost like a hero's journey, facing challenges, overcoming obstacles, and emerging stronger than ever.
Love it. But you know what really makes Quant unique?
What's that?
They're tackling one of the biggest problems in the blockchain world right now, interoperability. But what does that even mean? It sounds so technical.
It is a bit technical, but think of it this way. Imagine the blockchain world as a giant jigsaw puzzle.
Huh?
Each blockchain is like a separate piece.
Okay, I'm picturing a puzzle with like a million pieces, all different shapes and sizes.
Perfect. And each piece is awesome on its own, but they don't really fit together.
Right, it's just a jumbled mess.
Exactly. And that's kind of where we are now. We've got all these amazing blockchains, but they're mostly operating in isolation. They can't really talk to each other or share information.
So it's like they're all speaking different languages.
Exactly. And that's where Quant comes in. They're building the bridges that connect these isolated blockchains, creating a universal language so they can finally communicate and work together.
So Quant is like the Google Translate of the blockchain world.
Aha, perfect analogy. And this is a big deal because interoperability unlocks so many possibilities. Imagine a future where you can easily transfer assets between different blockchains, or use your favorite app on any blockchain you want.
That'll be game-changing. No more limitations. Just seamless integration.
Exactly. And that's the vision that Quant is working towards. They're building the infrastructure for a truly interoperable blockchain world.
Okay, so interoperability, huge deal.
Yeah.
But how does Quant actually make it happen? What's the secret sauce?
Their secret weapon is a technology called Overledger. Think of it as a middleware layer that sits on top of all those different blockchains, acting like a universal connector.
Okay, so it's like the glue that holds everything together.
Exactly. Overledger lets developers build what we call multi-chain applications, or maps for short. And these maps can interact with different blockchains at the same time.
Whoa, so instead of being stuck on just one blockchain, developers can tap into the power of the entire ecosystem.
Exactly. It opens up so many new possibilities. For example, imagine a supply chain management system that uses one blockchain to track goods, another blockchain to handle payments, and another to manage contracts.
So it's like taking the best features of each blockchain and combining them into one super efficient system.
Exactly, and that's just one example. The possibilities are endless. With Overledger, developers can create applications that were never possible before.
Okay, so Overledger is the tech behind Quant's vision. But what about real-world adoption? Are companies actually using this stuff?
You know, we were talking about real-world adoption, and Yeah, Quant's got some serious partnerships happening already.
Fill us in. Who are they working with?
Well, we mentioned SIA earlier, right? The European payments giant. They're using Quant's technology to improve cross-border payments.
Makes sense. Payments are a perfect use case for interoperability. No more waiting forever for those international transfers.
Exactly. And it's not just payments. Quant's got partners in healthcare supply chain logistics. Even government agencies are getting on board.
Wow, so they're really weaving this web, connecting all these different industries through blockchain. That's got to be good for Q&T's price, right?
Definitely. Remember, Q&T is what fuels the whole Quant network.
Yeah.
You need it to access Overledger to deploy those multi-chain apps. So the more the ecosystem grows, the more demand there'll be for Q&T.
It's like a snowball effect. More adoption, more demand, higher price. I like the sound of that. But, okay, before we get carried away with all those games, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
The risks.
The risks. Every investment has them, and Quant's no different. We talked about competition before. All those other projects trying to solve the same interoperability problem.
Right, it's a crowded space for sure. So what sets Quant apart? What gives them an edge?
Yeah, what's their secret weapon?
Well, besides their head start and proven track record, Quant's really focused on real-world applications. They're not just building tech for the sake of building tech. They're solving real problems for businesses and organizations.
Substance over hype. I like it. But even with the best tech and the smartest team, there are always those external factors that can throw a wrench in the works, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Regulation is a big one. The whole crypto landscape is constantly shifting. Governments are still trying to figure out what to do with it all. It's like trying to hit a moving target.
And we can't forget about the risk of technological hiccups, right? What if Overledger runs into some unexpected bugs or vulnerabilities?
That's always a possibility. And then there's the broader market risk. Crypto can be, well, volatile, to say the least. Even if Quant does everything right, a market downturn could still drag Q&T's price down.
Okay, so diversification is key, right? Don't put all your crypto eggs in one basket, no matter how much you believe in the project.
Couldn't agree more. But hey, all this talk about risks shouldn't overshadow the massive potential Quant has. We're talking about a technology that could completely revolutionize how we interact with the digital world.
It's like building the internet of blockchains. Breaking down all those walls, creating this truly interconnected ecosystem. The implications are mind-boggling.
Imagine a world where your digital identity, your data, your assets, they're not tied to specific platforms anymore. You have true ownership and control, and you can move seamlessly between different blockchains. That's the future Quant's building.
Okay, I officially need a minute to process all of this. This deep dive has been incredible. We've covered so much ground.
We have. From Q&T's wild price history to those expert predictions, technical analysis, fundamental factors, risk management, it's been a whirlwind.
A whirlwind of knowledge. And speaking of knowledge, don't forget to check out those amazing offers we've got for you in the description below.
They can help you get started with crypto, learn more about Quant, and maybe even grab some Q&T at a great price.
It's all there waiting for you. But for now, we're going to wrap up this episode of the NOSR Webs podcast.
Thanks for joining us on this Quant adventure. Remember, knowledge is power. So do your own research, stay informed, and always invest responsibly.
We'll catch you next time.